SCM Might of the Maw Mod Spotlight, Ogre Kingdoms, the Blogg Crusherguts of the Rock Skulls tribe, Blaut Feastmaster of the Feastmaster tribe, and Bul Mallet-hands of the Blood Guzzlers. We're checking out all three of these to see what units and campaign mechanics they bring to the table. We're starting off with Blaut Feastmaster, and he's all about that cooking and the food, if you can't tell. Him there wielding his hammer, if you get it. So this is his starting location. There's not a lot of lore on this guy, but the most unique part about his lore, other than nobblers, he also allowed halflings to serve ogres in his tribe. So there is a little bit more, variety because of that. So there's more options for the future for this faction to be fleshed out, in my opinion. His start's really not that hard, in my opinion. I think that has a pretty easy start, and I was a really big fan of his campaign mechanics. His primary mechanics are all about cooking, and it's about fighting different factions to acquire more ingredients so that you unlock more ingredients to cook with. Now, as you can see here, you have up to 4 ingredient slots, and then based off what you put in there, you're going to get different buffs for either your armies or your faction in general, and they're going to last for so many turns, and it costs so much money to get it. I'm a big fan of this. I think it adds a lot of fun combos, and it's going to push you to fight a bunch of different enemies. So I really love the campaign, and I'm going to play more in the future. We're now going to look at the units. Obviously, Blaut Feastmaster here, and you can tell he has a lot of abilities. And guys, this is probably the most amount of stats and everything I can put on one page, so hopefully everyone likes this. There's a lot of information here, so please pause if you want to read closer at it. Then we also have this halfling cook. Back to earlier, we talked about how he allowed halflings in his tribe, and as you can tell here, they're probably best served as cooking. They probably have a little bit better skills on that side compared to nobblers or maybe even ogres themselves. So it does make sense in my opinion. Also, I really liked his mount. It's like his attacks are kind of like he's just slamming them down, and we are going to show combat here at the end of this section. So you've seen the Lord, you've seen the hero, now we're diving into the actual infantry. These are nobbler grillers, and I've got to say, there's not very many mods that I've ever played where I've actually been hungry while making the video, but those kebabs look amazing. I would have one right now. And then we're going to up it. We now went from nobbler grill slingers. So these guys have flaming kebabs, and they throw a fire attack, which is like pots and pans going through the air, and they do fire damage when they hit. Overall, big fan of the aesthetics on this unit. Then we have Blaut's man-eaters. So these are man-eaters just for his tribe. I really do love the look and design on these guys. They have a very aesthetic standout compared to the others, and they have that big butcher's knife kind of style. Just overall big fan of it. I think they look great, and they did pretty good in combat in my opinion. And then you go up to the Feast Guard, which is the Regiment Renown version, and then you get super outlandish. They've got like ham, and they've got turkey on their shields. It's hilariously funny, but at the same time, it looks so good. I'm sure you've heard the term a carrot on the stick, but this is like so on the nose, it's hilarious. We have the Bloodfang Warbeasts, which literally have like meat and carrots hanging out in front of these guys, kind of like it's leading them on into combat. But overall, I was a big fan of just the thematic side to it. Bul Mallet-hands is actually a little bit more lore-based than the other two, and he is a part of the Blood Guzzlers. He's the leader, and they are in a tribe that's in the Vale of Webs, which is a spider-infested valleys in the Mountains of Morn. So there is something for them to build on in this mod that kind of makes sense, and they are very spider-focused. They're more like a hunter faction that's kind of gotten used to living around spiders, and they've just made that their main thing. So overall, I was a big fan of this. I like the Feastmasters a little bit more just because I'm less of a fan of the spider-looking style units because of their animations in combat. But he does have great campaign mechanics. Spider eggs are kind of like your main currency you're going to collect throughout playing, and you're going to use that to acquire units, to get faction upgrades, and to get unit upgrades for the spider units. There's also spider hunts, which is a quest-style battle to claim more eggs. So there are some quest battles too that are unique to him, which I think is cool. And you could really build up and make spiders a very, very strong force, which I think is kind of cool. So, I mean, they've really built it around that well. So now we're at the unit section. We have Bul Mallet-hands. And I've got to say, as a lord, looking at his abilities and his stats, I really do like it. My only issue is I just don't like on the visual side. I know it's a spider web, but any mod that uses that kind of weapon style or something like that, the graphical look to it just looks so weird, in my opinion. I just don't like it. I do like him more on the mount, though. Not every unit and hero in this mod are cut and dry on exactly where they belong or where to best show them off. So I'm showing off this guy here because he does do a poison venom style damage attack over time, and I thought that would fit in well with the spider faction. He has a mounting option which adds other nobblers similar to him. We're now at Mallet's Hunters, which you can tell aesthetically there are some things very similar to the Lord. I do like that they have armor-piercing missiles. They're anti-large. They do pretty okay in combat. I'm a big fan of the aesthetics on these guys, and they do have a rough, rugged look. Now we're at the spiders. We have the Nobbler Spider Riders, and as you can tell, I like the idea behind these units. I just don't like them exactly in combat, really, but they're a cavalry unit, they're Nobblers, they're on spiders, they do exactly what you expect them to do. This is actually a Regiment of Renown unit for the next unit I'm going to show, which is the Flame Noses. They're Nobbler Spider Rider Archers. They have a very unique look to their spiders, and so I'm a really big fan of how they look. And then you're back to the more basic red, which we saw earlier. We have the Nobbler Spider Riders with Archers. Again, you're going to use these guys to pretty much be a mobile archer unit to shower the enemy down. Don't put these guys in melee. We're now at the Nobbler Spider Chariot, which is a missile chariot, and I actually do like this one a lot more than the other ones just because I like chariot units a lot more. I'm just a big fan of chariot units, probably over cavalry units, and I don't know why that is. And now we're moving up to the Hunter Spider Chariot. So we have the Hunters from earlier, and they're on Spider Chariots, and what's not to love? The only thing I would like to see is maybe a Regiment of Renown version of this, which is a little bit more flashy, but I do like this unit. So the last video I shot, I actually made a mistake and put the Lava Arachnic Spider in the last video. They actually go with this faction, so you get this spider, and then you have the Lava Arachnic Spider, which is above this one in this faction. And then there's also another spider, and you get this one with the Flinger. So this faction really has 3 large spider units, and they all 3 serve a different purpose, and they have a different look, and I'm a big fan of all of them. So yeah, but only 2 are shown here. We're now at Blogg Crusherguts of the Rock Skulls tribe. There's not a lot of lore info on this guy, but what there is pretty much these are considered the least intelligent ogre tribe that there is. So they're dumb, pretty much. And they're so dumb in lore that they actually were paid to fight an enemy, and they were so honored by being able to fight in this battle that they actually paid to fight in the battle. So yeah, they're very, very dumb guys. There's not really any unique units. I'm hoping they get some added in the future. You know, they have some bonuses towards stone trolls that they get access to, but there's not really any unique ogre modded units. This faction's built entirely around momentum, which is all about winning battles back to back and always fighting. So these guys, you're going to want to constantly be in battle. So, and you're going to get bonuses as you go up, as you can see here, by building up your momentum. I will say that because of the way the campaign mechanics are made on this, and losses are a negative against it as well, it's going to be a more difficult campaign than a lot of the others I've looked at, just because of trying to maintain the momentum and build it up. But let me know if you think it's easier. We're now at the unit section here. We have Blogg Crusherguts himself. As you can see, his passive and his active ability. And overall, I was a big fan of him. He's a pretty straightforward how to use him lord. There's not a lot of bells and whistles and tricks. You just throw this guy into combat, activate your hex, and let him go to town. And he does have the classic mount for the ogres that's themized and for him. And I kind of like that he has his little head back there on a rock. You know, so overall, I'm a big fan of it. He's going to do great work in combat. Since this faction doesn't have a lot of unique units, I'm taking this as an opportunity to show off other heroes and units in this mod. So we have Gutlords. He's a legendary hero. He's your classic ogre, mercenary, knightly kind of look. And then we have the Old Thunder, who's a missile specialist that has some pretty unique abilities. And on top of that, he does have some unique units that are directly related to him, which I included in here as well, which I thought was really cool as a hero. And then we have Brog, the Slave Lord. So I thought he was interesting, kind of focused on the undead side. And when he goes into combat, when the battle starts, he does summon zombies around him to fight, and he does have the ability to resurrect. So it is kind of cool, but kind of different. Next, we have Drolg, the Kin Eater. And out of all the heroes and lords, and really looking at the melee side of things, if I had to pick one, he would probably be it. He has a really good bonuses, in my opinion, for melee combat and while he's in combat, so I think he would do great work. Then we have Gloon Wayfoot, which is a hero, but he's also a giant. And I'm less of a fan of this guy. I don't really know. Like, if I got him, I got him. I don't know if I'd go out of my way to get him, if that makes sense. A unique unit for the Old Funders. We have Old Funders boys. They're Slayer Man-Eaters, and if you can't tell, they're stealing a lot from the dwarves here, except obviously they didn't steal their height because they already are tall. So yeah, I had to make that joke in there. Next, we have the Ogre Biters, which are Nobbler Man-Biters. They're flail infantry, and I really like the look on these guys, and I include them because they seem more like a little mercenary unit than anything, in my opinion. So yeah, I had to throw them in for this mod spotlight. Then we have a Cyclops, which I really didn't know the best place to throw this in at, so I threw it in here. Really goofy looking in my opinion, so yeah, I mean, it's going to have the same weakness as a giant, if that makes sense. Now we have Drogg's Black Powders, which is a siege artillery chariot, and this would add a lot to the Ogre Kingdoms, just because you're just having a very mobile, strong artillery piece. Oh, this would be fun to play with. This is approaching the end of the video, guys. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I do have one more SCM Might of the Maw video that I think will be made. It's going to be focused on the mountains, forest, ice kind of style left on the ogres. And I think you're really going to love it, guys. Look forward to showing it to you in the future.